Today we continue with our class Shabbos Home. This session and all that we're going to learn today is going to be dedicated, BeEzrat HaShem, to also dedicated to Leilu Neshama, LevLeib Ben Zion. Also, I think today, yesterday for now, because today is the new day already, was Yortzeit of Rav Chaim Kanievsky. That's all. Alright, should be also dedicated to his chus and Lechavdel Rifa Shlema to Ariela Ora Basana, Mimra Sirachel Basbrindel, also Rabbi Yaron Ruven Shlita. His name is Yaron Ben Doris, David Shlomo Ben Sandra, and Atzlacha Rabba to Giveres Hana Bas Avram Avinu, the whole family. Okay. Alright, so we continue today with our book Shabbos Home, and we start a new chapter. Chapter 32, and our topic is demolishing, saser. Right, in section number 1, and says saser, demolishing, is one of 39 avos melachos, prohibited on Shabbos. Like other avos melachos, it's based on activity performed by the Jews in the wilderness and Mishkan, specifically the act of demolishment. They would perform and dismantle the Mishkan in preparation for a wilderness journey. Okay, so let's quickly review. That's as usual. He gives us amazing definition, right? This demolishment. So I mean, for us, of course, we're going to see as we already know, right? We completed so many pages, right? So many books we completed. So now, for now, we know it's going to be on a biblical level. If a person would break something like some structure, but also it's going to pertain to something when a person is taken apart. Right? We'll see. Right, on a rabbinic level, of course. So from the beginning, it's a biblical melacha. When they would put all of these boards together, like pillars, right, together, and they would connect them. There were rods like going inside two inside and one outside. But there were like rings, right, to go through from outside, and there is like a ring on top, like a silver ring, and plus they would put them in a silver basis. So right, so meaning it was standing on top of the ground, right, top of the ground, and when time came to move, they would just disassemble. So it's not like they demolished something, but in a sense, if you think about it, right, it was a wall, and they disassembled. So now it's in a sense they demolished the wall. Okay, so that's biblical melacha. Number 2, definition. Okay, the Melachos saser, so demolition, right, is defined demolishment of any object or any part of the object whose creation would violate the Melecah of Boneh, building. This includes, but not limited to, the structure, walls, tents, and utensils. Okay, so let's try to understand. So this section number 2. The Melecah of demolition is defined the demolishment of any object or any part of the object. So meaning, so it's opposite to the building. So whatever is not allowed to build, like the builder, we said to add to the structure, right? So it's not allowed to demolish. So if you have a screw, right, in a wall, and you take it out, for example, a loose screw, it would be absolutely, or a loose nail or something, it would be absolutely forbidden, right? Because it's would be demolishing, right? Okay. This include, but not limited to, structures. Structures, everybody understand. Walls, tents, and utensils. Okay. So utensils, of course, as we understand, like we're going to concentrate more on rabbinical, right? So let's see, section number 3, the biblical prohibition. As a rule, the melachas prohibited under biblical law are constructive acts intended to accomplish some beneficial purpose. The Melecah of demolishing is no exception. According to the biblical Accordingly, the biblical prohibition of demolition includes only those acts of demolition that serve constructive purpose. A primary example of demolition is of a building for the purpose of rebuilding in the same place. However, demolishment performed for the other beneficial purposes is also included in the Torah prohibition. So let's stop here. I mean, it's right now. Next section, he's going to go into detail. So let's see the biblical prohibition. So again, in the wilderness, we just dismantle, and it's considered to be demolition, right? As usual, right, as he explained, in order to transgress the biblical prohibition, it must be for constructive purpose. So same as what was for constructive purpose? We said erasing. So Melecah of erasing was forbidden. Why? Because they would erase in order to write something on top, right? And in that place. Okay. So meaning now is the same constructive purpose was for demolition, right? According to the the biblical prohibition of demolition includes only those acts of demolition to serve constructive purpose. So constructive purpose meaning that they dismantle the Beis Hamikdash, not Beis, like Mishkan here, in order to rebuild in another place, right? A primary example, so that's one example. The primary example of demolishment is a building, demolition of a building for the purpose of rebuilding in the same place, right? So that's not a Mishkan. So when we had Mishkan, we had to move from one place to another, right, in the desert. That's straightforward. But usually, when person is not moving anywhere, because I have only this plot of land and I have this house, it's tiny house. That's how we started. Now family group, Baruch HaShem. So a person wants to raise this house and build a bigger one in its place. Okay. So that's for constructive purpose. However, demolishment for other beneficial purposes is also included in the Torah prohibition. So meaning that is it's on your way or something. Okay. Or it's dangerous. So meaning somebody might this dangerous wall or something, like leaning wall. Okay. So let's go into details. Subsection 8, demolishing for the purpose of building in the same place. It is forbidden by biblical law to demolish a structure in order to replace it with a better or more suitable structure in that very same place. The obvious example would be demolishing a house in order to build a larger house on the same lot. Some less obvious and more common examples of removing carpet in order to replace it with a new one, or removing a non-working bulb from the chandelier attached to the ceiling in order to replace it with a new bulb. See below for the law of demolishment performed in order to use the various components of the structure, for example, beams, shingles to build elsewhere. Okay, so I guess let's do a second case as well, and then we review. So B, demolition for the beneficial purposes. It is forbidden by biblical law to demolish a structure for any beneficial purpose, even if the purpose is not connected to the future act of building. For example, one who removes a nail from the wall so that the people will not be hurt by it violates the biblical prohibition, right? Because constructive purpose. Biblical prohibition, demolition, since he has removed it for the beneficial purpose. Very good example. Very straightforward, simple, but very descriptive example. Okay, so let's do from the beginning. Demolishment for the purpose of the building in the same place. So building in the same place. It is forbidden in biblical law to demolish a structure in order to replace it with better, or remove suitable structure for the a better or more suitable structure in the very same place. So as we said, so we demolish because we need space, or as we said in the second part, maybe we need the material, right? So right, I think we discussed a little. So it would be forbidden for people to start building new shul. For example, old shul is too too shaky. I don't know, not such a strong structure, a small structure. They want to build better in a central street or something, main street or whatever, like in a square, right? Better place. So they cannot take materials, right? Today, nobody takes material. I think so. Maybe some materials are still good, but in olden days, the materials were lasted forever, for centuries, right? Sometimes. So the bricks were real bricks. Not that today's that. I mean, compared to others, like maybe cement was not as strong. So people would take apart, and they would use the bricks, the stone, for sure. Stones, nothing can happen to them, and beams, to rebuild in different place. So with shul, it is forbidden because of different reasons. But that's and in halacha, the destruction of the shul is described extensively. So again, they on biblical level they try to demolish. It's on Shabbos, of course, structure in order to replace it with better one, or better or more suitable structure in that very same place. So again, we need the space, right, or material, as we said. An obvious example would be demolishing a house in order to rebuild a larger house on the same lot. So I mean, in this more common, that's all I have, only this lot. Okay. Some less obvious and more common example are removing the carpet in order to replace it with a new one. So this carpet is not a simple carpet. It's a carpet like a wall-to-wall carpet that you put the furniture on top. Right, so meaning it's like permanent. It's like installation. So if you have like area rack where kids play, and sometimes you want to roll away, there is no problem. We're not talking about that one, right? Sometimes you put it. Sometimes in the summer, I don't know, when it's hot, you take it away. We're not talking about that, but some that are like installed. Right, so now if somebody is taken away, it's like it's demolition, or removing non-working bulb in the chandelier. I'm not sure nobody is going to, like, if it's a working chandelier, nobody's going to do it on Shabbos. I'm not sure why he gave this example, but we got the idea. So this chandelier is attached to the ceiling, right, through the chains or whatever the screws, right, and removing the bulb would be example. Well, I would say, as we learned before, maybe this is also like more practical example when you have a handle, right, on your faucet and it falls off, right, and you take it, you want it to take off because it bothers you or something, so you're afraid to lose it. This would be forbidden. Okay. Or a door handle, right? See below for the laws demolishment performed in order to use the various components of the structure, for example, beams and shingles. Okay, build it elsewhere. Okay, so next one, B, demolition for a beneficial purpose. It is forbidden by biblical law to demolish a structure for any beneficial purpose, even if the purpose is not connected to the future act of building. So meaning demolishing something, even though you're not planning to build in this place, or even use materials and rebuild in another place, right? And example is, I think it's amazing example that he gives, nail, right? Some nail become loose or like sticking out, right, in the wall, and people might get hurt, or you have kids are coming, like from, right, guests with the kids are coming, so you're afraid, and that's you want to pull out this nail. So it would be absolutely forbidden because it is a beneficial purpose of people not to get hurt. Okay, so that's biblical, and now we go into section number 4, as usual, rabbinic prohibition. A. Demolishment performed by a non-constructive purpose, for a non-constructive purpose. We have explained that the biblical law does not prohibit an act of demolishment performed without constructive purpose. However, the sages were concerned that allowing people to perform a non-constructive act of demolishment on Shabbos might lead them to transgress the biblical prohibition by performing the constructive act of demolishment. The sages therefore extended the prohibition to include even demolishment performed without constructive intent. For example, it is forbidden under biblical law to break down the locked door in order to enter the room, except in certain case of emergency. See practical applications. Okay. And also let's quickly finish. Next one, B. Demolishment in order to use the components built elsewhere. According to the most authorities, demolition is demolishing a structure. In order to use the components to build another structure in a different location, forbidden by rabbinic law only, and it's very strange. Right, it's very strange because that's how this Melachot was performed in. It's in commentary said there is a second opinion because that's how this Melachot was performed in a desert, right? So they would dismantle in order to rebuild in a different place. They would not rebuild in the same place. Okay, but let's see. BeEzrat Hashem, we're going to learn. Okay, so section number 4, rabbinical prohibition. So as usual, rabbinical prohibition, rabbis were instructed by HaShem to create fences for us, so we would not come close to violate biblical prohibition. That's why they, like in all of the Melachos, they forbade action that for not constructive purpose. Because why? Because people would not know the difference, right? The constructive purpose, not constructive purpose, and they would violate the biblical prohibition, right? However, the sages were concerned that allowing people to perform non-constructive act of demolishment on Shabbos might lead them to transgress biblical prohibition, right, by performing constructive act of demolishment. So meaning, as we say, to build something in that place. So to fix something, right? So meaning, I don't know what would be example. The door handle getting stuck. Something like a person wants to disassemble, maybe see what's wrong and put it back. So this would be absolutely forbidden. Okay, so meaning in this case it would be on a biblical level because person like the demolishment for constructive purpose to put it back in the same place. The sages therefore extended the prohibition to include even demolishment performed without constructive intent. For example, it is forbidden under rabbinic law to break down the locked door in order to enter a room. So meaning, but it's from Talmud tells us example, and maybe we had it before. I think we had it. I don't remember, but it says that for a child, if child got stuck in a room, it is allowed to break down the door. So and it says it's preferable to break down the door than to go and look for a tools or something for a non-Jew to try to open it, right? Because a child can get scared so much that for him is a pikuach nefesh, right? And that's why if child, a little child, if you hide for a child, and now he or she does not see you, even though 3 seconds ago you were there in the room now, and they start crying, right? And it's some stupid people as parents, they keep the child and they stay for a few minutes. It's absolutely wrong, right? Because in the mind of the little kid, parent is gone. That's it. Here, mother, father, not coming back. For them, it's very, very real. For you, it's a game. You know that you're coming back. For them, it's real. That's why our sages in explaining Gemara, it is actually allowed to break down the door, even though they can hear your voice that you're behind the door. It's understandable, but little kid does not understand why they cannot see you. So meaning they hear your voice, but they do not see you. It's like you're gone. So right. So I think that would be exception. All right, but if it's a fire or something, yeah, I mean, if it's a fire for there is a person and behind the closed door, that's no problem, right? That's for pikuach nefesh we can say person. Same with a little child, but otherwise cannot. Okay, so next one, and also always recommend there is some locks, right, in a bathroom or some like a privacy lock in your house. So have some tool that to open the lock from the other side of the door, right? So sometimes it's a screwdriver, but sometimes you have to push like this thing. So in my house we always have it like on top of the door, just in case somebody gets stuck from just in case. So we continue. Demolition in order to use the components to build elsewhere, right? According to most authorities, demolition structure in order to use components to build another structure, different location, forbidden Rabbinic law. And he says below like source where it says, okay, no problem. But commentary said, however, other maintain there is two Torah prohibition. I mean, for me, it may make sense why it's Torah prohibition, because that's exactly how it's done in what is it in the desert. So next part is number 5, section number 5, types of the structure and object that may not be demolished on Shabbos. So let me quickly check time. Okay, and we continue. The Melecah of demolition is the converse of the Melecah Boneh, building. Accordingly, any structure or object that may not be erected on Shabbos may not be demolished on Shabbos either, if their erection violates the biblical law. Okay, so too does their demolishment. If their erection violates the biblical law, rabbinic law, their demolishment does as well. By the same token, any object that may be built on Shabbos may be demolished on Shabbos as well. For full description of this Melacha build, see chapter 30. Okay, so we're on 22. No problem. So we'll see. Maybe when we're going to get to practical application, so let's see. So subsection A. So let's do a few subsections. And it says reversing improvement made to the ground. It is forbidden under Melecah builder to improve the ground on Shabbos. Conversely, one is forbidden under the Melecah to demolish, to reverse improvement made on ground. For example, packing down the earth to create a firm, level path or floor is forbidden on Shabbos. As an act of the building, it follows that the tearing up the packed down earth is forbidden as well, as an act of demolishment. B. Demolishing a structure. Just as one is forbidden to erect structure upon the ground on Shabbos, so too is one forbidden to demolish a structure built upon the ground. The prohibition applies whether the structure is attached to the ground or simply lying upon it. And it applies no matter what style of structure and no matter what type of the material is used. It includes the demolishment of the wall or a fence, and even the removal of the rocks and bricks placed around the garden to protect it. Right. Even if components of the building are not tightly joined, it is forbidden to demolish the building. Okay, so it's a very long section, so let's do review so far. Okay, so we're on section number section number 5, and it says type of structure and the object that may not be demolished on Shabbos. So first of all, as we said, this Melecah of Demolishing is a converse of boneh, building. So meaning whatever is not allowed to build is not allowed to demolish. So meaning very straightforward. So and they correspond to the same level. Whatever is not allowed to build on a biblical level is not allowed to demolish on a biblical level. Whatever is not allowed to build on a rabbinical level is not allowed to demolish on a rabbinical level. Okay, which is good. Good to know. Just 1 second. Right, we said that. But the same token, any object that is may be built on Shabbos may be demolished on Shabbos as well. Okay. So built and demolished, no problem. So continue. So now we're going, like it was a like introduction. Now we're going to separate cases, like more specific cases. Reverse an improvement made on to the ground. One is forbidden under Melecah of building to improve the ground on Shabbos, and that's when we learned like some time ago, right? The Melecah of building. So we said that. That's how we start always construction. So we prepare the ground to level it, and that's why we said it is not allowed to sweep floors on Shabbos. And but it was a Mishnah, right? In the olden days, the people have earthen floors, right? So meaning sometimes people walk like in the middle of the room, this side of the room, that side of the room. So in the floor becomes uneven. So when they will sweep, they would like move dirt from one place to another and make it level. So that's why it is forbidden to sweep on Shabbos. But for us, we have all hard floors. Right? You're not going to do anything when we sweep. Right? For example, you have tiles, floor, tile, hardwood, like all other material floor. Hard floor, there is no problem. So we're allowed to sweep. So, but the point is leveling the ground, right? Preparing for construction. Same as I said. Conversely, one is forbidden under Melecah of Demolishing to reverse improvement made to the ground. So meaning even if people already did prohibition, so it is not allowed to undo that. Right, so just leave it be as it is. So, example, maybe by practical example, a person by mistake turned on the light on Shabbos, so it's not allowed to turn it off because that person is going to get two violations. It's better to not better. It's just leave it as it is. Okay, so you did mistake, and same as other things, right? So meaning same is here. Somebody did violate this prohibition of the building, right, boneh on Shabbos, so it's not allowed to undo it. For example, packing down the earth to create a firm, level path or floor is forbidden on Shabbos, as we explained, right? And as it is an act of building, and that's why, based on this, it is not allowed to play ball, right, on a soft ground, right? Because a person like in order for it to be even, they would try to make it to make it even, right? So meaning maybe the hole, they would fill up the hole. It follows that the tearing up the packed down earth is forbidden as well as an act of demolishment. But if it's we also said there that if it's done in normal way of doing things, it would not be forbidden. I mean, maybe person they put some kind of, I don't know, like dirt or something, and and then the person walks on it. So it's not like he's packing this dirt or sand for some reason. No, that's I need to walk, and that's my normal walk, right? I don't do anything out of ordinary. Okay, so in next one, subsection B, demolishing a structure. Just as one is forbidden to erect structure upon the ground on Shabbos, so too one is forbidden to demolish the structure built upon the ground. Right, and we said that build does not mean like you attach to the ground. Even if it's just standing to the ground on the ground, it's considered to be building. Okay, lying on the ground, right? And it applies no matter what style of the structure and no matter what type of material is used, right? So style of the structure, right? It could be a structure as we understand structure, maybe the house, or I don't know, like a shed or something. I don't know, that doesn't matter, like a dog's house or something, right? That doesn't matter. It could be something else, still considered to be building. It includes the demolishment of the wall or a fence, right? And even the removal of rocks and the bricks are placed around the garden to protect it. So I mean, sometimes people, if they have a lot of rocks, so in some areas, so there is a Rockland County in New York, right? So there is a lot of rocks. So it does not call Rockland County for no reason. So like very Jewish neighborhoods. A lot of towns, Jewish towns, Rockland County, right? And they have a lot of rocks. So meaning if you found like more or less flat rocks, so you can put like one on top of the other, and that's what I saw. They build fences. Of course, if you put cement is better, but sometimes just people put without cement. So meaning to remove this. To remove it or fix it better, right? Maybe it was moved by some, I don't know, by some force, so even that would be not be allowed. Same with the sticks, okay, because it's considered to be fence. Fence is a structure for sure, right? Even if the components of the buildings are not tightly joined, it is forbidden to demolish the building. So demolish this fence again, the racks one on top of the other. So let's do one more. Removing object that are attached to the structure. Removing object that are attached to the structure is forbidden under Melecah of Demolishing. Right? Even if objects are not are only loosely attached. For example, doorknob that is screwed in loosely. Right. The removal violates the biblical law. If, however, they are entirely unsecured, for example, doorknob inserted in a door without being secured with screws, the removal is forbidden on rabbinic law only, by rabbinic law only. And we're going into subcases. Okay, cases where it is permissible to remove object attached to a structure. A. Normal manner of use. The prohibition of demolition does not include the removal of the object whose normal use entails detachment from detaching it from and replacing it upon the structure. One who detaches such an object is simply performing its function. Therefore, his act does not violate Melecah of Demolishing. An example of this would be removing toilet paper rod from its holder, and that is attached to the wall, since the tube is meant to be removed and replaced. Removing it is not regarded as an act of demolishment. Okay. And next example, subsection B, a flimsy attachment. If an attachment is secured in a flimsy manner, it may be removed on Shabbos. Example would be a curtain that hangs upon hooks on a ceiling with the bottom left dangling, so that it blows it blows in a slightless wind. Okay. This flimsy attachment is not considered to be part of the structure, and therefore its removal does not fall into category of demolition. So let's stop here and try to review. So now we're going to some, as we say, the exception and some other rules. So subsection C, and it says removing objects that are attached to the structure. Right. So same as we learned about what. I'm going to remind you. We had the whole section in the chapter of building. So we're talking about the wall, not the wall, the doors, like sliding doors, right? Sliding doors, and we said that depends where. Like it is big structure, small structure. It's attached to the wall, does not attach to the wall, like a book, like book cabinets. Okay, so let's see. Removing an object that is attached to the structure is forbidden under Melecah of Demolishing. So far, so good. So meaning if it's attached to the object, right, or it is a structure itself. So we say what is structure itself? Just quickly to remind us, we say 1 by 1 by 3. So one amma is 2 feet, 2 feet by 2 feet by 3 feet. So it's like a dresser or something. A big dresser is going to be, it's considered to be separate structure, even though this dresser or this piece of furniture is not attached to the wall or to the floor. It's still considered to be like a separate structure. Okay. Okay. Even if the object are only loosely attached, right? And he brings this example doorknob. So doorknob, and they start screwing the screws, but they did not finish the job, right? So, but since it is attached to something that is attached to the ground, so to separate this to remove this doorknob is going to violate the biblical commandment. So just to remind us, small utensils, if it's loosely attached, is allowed to separate them. If it's tightly attached, is not allowed to separate them. If it's something attached to the ground, attached to the building, to the ground, so it would be, if it's tightly or loosely attached, it is forbidden to separate them. Loosely attached, I guess, on a rabbinic level, the tightly... no, it's actually, no, both of them are going to be on the, when it attached to the ground or to the building, it's forbidden on the biblical level. Right, but small object, right, if it's tightly attached on the rabbinical level, forbidden. If it's not, it's loosely attached, it's not forbidden. So let's see. If, however, they are entirely unsecured, right? For example, the doorknob inserted in a door without being screwed in. So I mean, it just like. Right, the removal forbidden by rabbinical law only. Okay, no problem. Actually, no, I said flimsy, but here in my mind, it's not attached at all. But okay, but he said it is still considered attached. No problem. So it is going to be attached, forbidden on a rabbinic level. Okay, so just so again. No, I apologize. Wherever we said everything correctly. But if it's tightly attached or loosely attached, it is forbidden on the biblical level. If it's just inserted there, so there is no attachment. So when it's door handle just inserted, there is no attachment at all, right? So it is forbidden on the rabbinical level. Okay. So I guess because people would not know the difference. Okay. So whatever we said, everything correctly. Okay, so continue. Now we're going to in details. So next subsection, cases where it is permitted to remove object attached to the structure. A, normal manner of use. So as we say, normal manner of doing things. For example, you walk on the ground in normal manner, right? So you pack the sand, you pack the dirt. It's not your intention. Did we have this example? I think we had this example, or maybe in another book, when there is a procedure when if they like install the stones like bricks or something, right? And they put sand on top of it. So when people walk on Shabbos, maybe it's from Talmud, right? When people walk on Shabbos, so they press the sand between the bricks. So the question is, it allowed or not? So meaning it's normal way of doing things. It's not like they walk specifically to do that. But again, it's depends on the intention of the person who did it. If he wants for people to do that, it would be forbidden. Okay, but if it was just done before Shabbos, or it was done on Thursday, nobody planned to do this, and this road leads to synagogue, and Jews walk on that, there is no problem. You're allowed to walk because your intention just go to the shul. It's not park the sand between the bricks. Okay, so again, normal way of things, the general rule, the normal way of things, it's allowed. So same with unfolding chairs, right? Unfolding table, right? I'm not, or like a baby cage. Like that's how we usually do it, right? We're not building anything new. One who detaches such an object is simply performing its function, right? Therefore, an act of and his act does not violate the Melecah of Demolishing. Example would be removing the toilet paper right from the holder that is attached to the wall. Of course, we said before there is a toilet paper is a muktzah, but we got the point, right? That's this rod was created like a design to be removed and set back. So it's not right. It's not something out of ordinary. So it's not going to be demolishing. So in subsection B, a flimsy attachment. If an attachment is secured in a flimsy manner, it may be removed on Shabbos. An example would be a curtain that hangs upon the hooks on the ceiling with the bottom left dangling so that it blows in a slightless wind. So meaning it's not considered to be a wall, right? And we actually learned these details in the construction of a sukkah, right? So meaning, but if it's blows with a normal wind, not a crazy wind, but normal wind, is not considered to be a wall at all, right? So meaning this curtain, and it's like on there are no clear locks. It's just hooks, right, and rings, and they put on top of it. No problem. This flimsy attachment is not considered to be part of the structure, right? Structure. Therefore, its removal does not fall in the category of demolition. Same you have a hook, right? You put your jacket on top. It's not like you attach your jacket to the wall, right? To the hook that is attached to the wall. It's normal way of using things. And plus second very important point, since it is attached to the and since it's not halakhically not considered to be a wall, so to remove this curtain from the hooks is not going to be act of demolition. Okay. So let's take 5 minutes break and we continue with other topics. 5 minutes.